also in the Old Testament, Moses, he was doing many acts, what we could have been seen as like sorcery, where he turned a wooden staff or something like this into a snake, and then he turned the sea blood red. And what else? Many other things he was doing, which again, it could be akin, to witchcraft, to giving us signs and wonders, yeah, or like magicianry, like this wizardry or something like this, yeah. And is it Moses or Abraham? They talk about him having, I think it was Moses, wasn't it, and Aaron, after they'd crossed the Red Sea, and they came into, well, Moses didn't make it to the promised land, did he? But basically, there's a point where they're talking about the breastplate. They had this breastplate to show that they were the high priests, or of the high priest class. And the breastplate had all these jewels on the breastplate. And each jewel that it had, each different coloured jewel, like there was jade, I don't know, amethyst, all different ones, crystalline, I don't know, whatever, so many different ones, lapis lazuli. Each one had a different property. So isn't that the same thing as when crystal healers talk about crystals having different properties? And this is another thing that the church has a problem with, has an issue about. People who do all these crystal healings and say that they work with stones and that they work with runes and all of this kind of thing. This is exactly what the high priests of the Bible were doing. Also, I think it was Abraham, where he had two stones, and they were called the Urim and the Thummim. And when he put the Urim and the Thummim together, I can't remember, but some miraculous thing happened. If I had my laptop now, I would go and Google it now to find out exactly what this was all about. But again, to me, that is just, it's very similar. Like, when you're doing all this, when you're talking about all this crystal healing and stones, particular stones having particular properties and all this new age, what they call new age stuff. It's all right there in the Bible. It's all right there in the Old Testament. So this is what I'm saying, and this is my talk for the day. I really wish people would stop being just so judgmental and do the research, do the homework. Okay, really learn about things, what you're talking about, before you open your mouth and decide to just quickly judge somebody or quickly tell somebody, you know what you're doing there is of the devil, what you're doing there is witchcraft, or what you're doing there is this or that. Like, sit down with the person, get to know first of all, know your own standing, where you're coming from. This is my point, because some people actually really do have a gift, okay? Even Christians, right? Even a lot of churches, they have to, in order to fight the devil, okay, Catholic Church, the Mormon Church, right? In order to fight the devil, they have to first of all know what is the devil's works. You have to know what the devil's works are, first of all, in order to fight the devil. Okay, so in order to understand how the demons operate, in order to fight them, you have to do some kind of demonology in the first place. Like, you have to get to know the devils and the demons, by their name, in order to do battle against them. So that's my chat for the evening. And let me know in the chat, any of your like weird and wonderful experiences and what you think about all of these things, this type of day and age that we're living in. Also, it says in the Bible, in the last days, I, as in God, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. This means God doesn't discriminate. It says, he makes the sun shine upon the wicked, as he makes the sun shine upon the righteous as well as the wicked. Yeah, the wicked as well as the righteous. And it also says, in the last days, I'm going to pour out my spirit upon all flesh. So this means upon the animals, upon the fish in the sea, upon the sea even, upon every human being on this planet. Yeah? Whether they're good in their heart, whether they're bad in their heart. Okay, God himself is going to pour out his Holy Spirit on everybody and everything. And personally, I think that is really what is happening today, because there's just, the earth is becoming overflowing with knowledge, with information we can't even contain. We're getting overwhelmed with the extent, of this knowledge and information and what people are going through. We're all becoming so too much in tune with one another, each other's trauma. The planet's going through healing. We're starting to understand all about these past generational curses that have been passed down onto all of us, and how all these past programmings that we're now understanding were just programmings. You know, we're all kind of working through our own traumas in order to work ourselves out of the matrix. And God himself in the Bible, you know, he said all of this. This is what is going to happen in the last day. So, yeah, that's all I have to say for today. I just wanted to say a few words about that. But I'm coming off now. I'm coming off this live now. So thanks for joining. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Bye. I'm coming.